Alright, for the sake of not pulling any punches, people submit decks because we're a little bit honest around here. I am not a fan of Mardu Angels as an archetype. We've played it a bunch this season, and I really don't think adding that... I really don't think the red cards add value to the black-white Angels core. I think these cards like Lava Coil and Deafening Clarion kind of help matchups that are already good, in my experience. With that, I definitely prefer, like, the blue or the green splash to, like, have access to counterspells or acceleration or other various tools like that. One thing I'm concerned about looking at this specific list going in here is that this list doesn't have any proactive 2-drop creatures in it, so it's much slower and more mid-rangey. The curve is also higher because there's 10 4-mana creatures in this deck. Worth noting that there's only 25 lands in this deck, and there's no card selection, there's no cantrips, so this deck is likely going to miss land drops with some amount of consistency just because it has no way to smooth itself out and get caught with 4s and 5s in its hand and just die. There aren't any copies of Tocatli Honor Guard in the 75, which is one of your better tools that you have against not only red decks to be blocking, but also pretty reasonable against the Sultai matchup. Oh, maybe I want some copies of Tocatli in here. I might push this around. I kind of want a 26th land, and I kind of want Tocatli in the sideboard. I guess with Deafening Clarion, Tocatli gets a little bit worse. I'm going to add a 26th land. I'm going to put a Memorial to Folly in. Alright, let's do it. Let's dive in. Let's dive in, play some games. That's such a good idea. I am totally gonna get a Magic 8-Ball. The classic, add the 26th land, get double 1-landers in a row. Oh, Magic the Gathering. Oh, Magic, never change. I think the red matchup with this archetype is probably pretty good. Like, the black-white Angels core is a very reasonable deck. So even though I don't think the red adds meaningful value to the black-white Angels core, I think this deck's still pretty reasonable because it's still just like black-white Angels. Double Cindervines in the main. Where did the enchantments hurt you, opponent? What did they do? So here's the problem, Plaid. So you just described what the cards do, but again, I don't care about the text box of the cards. I don't care what the text box says. What value do those cards add for the deck? What problem does the deck have that you're solving by making that change? There's so many infinite combinations of cards in Magic, even in Standard, that you can't just put cards that are good in the deck and expect it to be cohesive or good. You want to be identifying problems that your deck has and then working to solve them by making changes. A good example of why Clarion I don't think is a good splash is because Clarion is a card that helps you against aggro when you have it early, but if you're splashing Clarion off of 10 red sources, you're not going to consistently have it early. So now you're splashing a card, and it's difficult to get the result that you want with it because you're splashing it. Nah, it's a much better bit if I pick up a Magic 8-Ball next to my desk and shake it. I'm all about the quality television, okay? And here's the other flip side. Splashing a card to make your aggro matchup better, adding a bunch of shock lands and extra tap lands to your deck for the sake of making your aggro matchup better is counterintuitive, right? And we need one of our big plays at this point. We just need any of our 4 or 5 drops, right? We need a Lyra, we need a Seraph, we need an Aurelia, just something that's going to let us actually close the game out. Oh, am I dead? JK, LOL, we dead? Remember when our opponent missed their second land drop on 2 and then just laughed at us and killed us anyways? Pepperidge Farm remembers. I don't really know what we're doing here, right? Like, all of our cards seem reasonable. Like, I feel like I have too many cards for this matchup, right? Am I just, like, cutting pieces of spot removal, I guess? Like, what am I trimming here? All my top end seems reasonable. No, history is fine against Cindervines. Yeah, I guess we could trim these. I don't want to take out Mortify because they're a experimental frenzy deck. Aurelia has 4 points of toughness. Do we cut Resplendent Angel just because it dies to Lightning Strike? I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna cut the Resplendent Angels and leave 1 in. Like, I get the Resplendent Angel activating and hitting is very good, but that's kind of narrow. It's not gonna happen very often. So, a card like Aurelia doesn't add value to what you're doing. Maybe you're misusing the moniker value the way we use it in card games. So in card games, we say something adds value or is a value play if it is a play that generates multiple cards in exchange for 1. So cards that generate 2 for 1s like Teferi that draw a card every turn, those cards add value. Those are value cards. So, I am getting a little bit punished here by letting them cast a light up the stage, but I was hoping to play this tapped land here so I could then Deafening Clarion on the next turn and, like, kill 2 things at once with it. I also think Clarion's just, like, awkward for situations like this, too, right? Like, ideally, like, I've chosen now not to play my sweepers out, my spot removal out here. So, like, if this had just been a spot removal spell, I might be in a better spot this game because then I wouldn't feel obligated to try and get a 2-for-1 that ended up not even really being a 2-for-1. Disinformation Campaign is a great example of a value card. Chemister's Insight, great example of a value card. Yeah, so what the term you're using to you would want to look for there, Plaid, is you're describing you wanted Aurelia in your deck to give you higher average card quality. The power level of your individual cards you wanted to be higher. So they had Cindervines in their main deck, which I agree is weird to leave in post-board against us. You do count as a viewer, Raymile. Everywhere that this stream is on, we get a viewer count for. So thanks for being here today. Telegraph, thanks for the Prime support. Welcome, welcome. We're actually in a pretty okay spot here. We're gonna end up at 14, and we're gonna be at 13 after we Lava Coil this next turn. My wife, a muggle, is very confused by this argument. Black-White Angels, honestly, I always feel like that deck already has an extremely high average card quality. So I really don't feel like Aurelia fixes anything. No, I don't want to slam Lyra there, because if I slam Lyra and they kill it and then hit me with Goblin Chain Whirler, I feel really bad. Also, if I play Lyra out and they attack with Goblin Chain Whirler, I can't block their Chain Whirler because I don't want to trade my Lyra for Goblin Chain Whirler plus a burn spell. So, I'd much rather just be conservative. It's a higher risk, higher reward play, but I'm not far enough behind that I need to take a risk. I think Kaya is okay in Black-White Angels. I think Black-White Angels tends to have a really good matchup against mono-blue aggro as is, which means you have less incentive to play a card like Kaya, because Kaya is a card that hedges that style of matchup. Shalai does not protect from Cindervines because Cindervines does not target the player. It just does 1 damage to that player. So there's no word target anywhere in Cindervine's first line of text here. So Shalai does not protect from it. I'm going to elect to just take this hit because I don't want to trade Shalai for their 2/2 plus a burn spell out of their hand when I have all this removal in mind. Yeah, that's fair. I think the Angels archetype is very reasonable. I think this archetype struggles against Sultai, but in most other places, I think it's got a lot of play to it, and it's very, very decent. I think it's decent against all the aggro decks like red, white, and blue, and I think it's fine against control a lot of the time. What's the reason we're holding Mortify and not destroying the Cindervines? That, right there. That one. That's the reason. Don't you dare hit the shock. Hey, thanks for the 5 months, Togobogo. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I think the only thing that beats me from this position is them having Experimental Frenzy run away with the game. And this is going to lock it in. I think Boros Angels is really rancid. I think just red is the absolute worst splash you can have in this archetype because it really doesn't add meaningful value. I think you'd rather have green for ramp creatures, you'd rather have blue for counter spells and Teferi, or you'd rather have black for discard spells, Seraph, and Mortify. I think all 3 of the other colors that pair with white for Angels are better than red in the current format. No, I'm not a big fan of the Nexus decks, Okapi. They're just kind of tedious to play. Seraph of the Scale is one of the better cards in this format. 4-power flying creatures, especially ones that leave value behind when they die, are very potent. It's not Rekindling Phoenix good, but it's really close. It's better in some situations even, too. Like, the fact that it can gain Death Touch to trade with a big Krasis or a Carnage Tyrant is very valuable. We did try Esper the other day, and it was kind of okay. We played straight blue-white Angels this morning, and it felt absurdly good. Was very surprised, actually. Hey, babygambles.gov. I love the show. Very consistent quality. Keep it going. Well, thanks for the consistent Twitch Prime. Welcome back for the 2nd month in a row. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Yeah, the fact that it can fly over the top while holding the ground down is also very valuable. I agree. No, I don't think Bolas is very good just because of the number of times that it dies and doesn't do anything. The fact that Seraph of the Scales leaves things behind when it dies is huge. So, like, this is a great example of a game where having this red cards in my deck is hurting me overall. Imagine if this Blood Crypt was just a swamp and this was just a plains, like, I have to shock myself to Mortify this turn. I'm gonna have to shock myself again to play a 4-drop next turn. So I've started 4 life less for the sake of the splash. D Zhang, thanks for the Prime support. I appreciate that. I really like Shalai in general. I think, especially in the blue-white build we played this morning, Shalai paired with Deputy of Detention is very good. Deputy is a pretty reasonable card when you can protect it, and Shalai protects it well. Curving Shalai into Lyra is also fantastic. And in the blue-white build, Shalai protecting Teferi felt really good at multiple points. To talk about this play here, this is actually the exact reason I chose to lead on Aurelia over Seraph of the Scales. If my opponent has the Lava Coil like they did there, I'd much rather they trade the Lava Coil plus their 1/1 for my Aurelia there, rather than just getting to exile my Seraph with just Lava Coil. And again, just these shock lands coming back to bite me. I'd prefer to hold up Angel of Grace this turn, but it's holding it up isn't good enough to take 2 more points of damage. Is blue the best color in Standard right now? It's an interesting question. Yeah, it might be. It might be. If I had to take a pick for one that is the best, yeah, blue would probably be it. Oh, you know what? I could have given them both Vigilance, huh? Should have given them both Vigilance. So, I'm going to go ahead and block both their creatures here, because I don't want to go to 1 and then have them kill me with a burn spell during my upkeep. If they use burn spells to finish my angels off, that's ideal, because it means those burn spells then aren't going to my face. You actually can't play a shock land untapped when you're at 1. It's not a legal play. You cannot pay life that you don't have. Like I said, I think the aggro matchups are good for the Angels archetype regardless of which iteration they're playing. I would love to play first. Memekin is absurd in the Cascade event. I would believe that. Looking for a third land here. I do not. We are just a just constructed stream. Streaming constructed 50 hours a week like I have been. We're still maintaining 40 to 60 decks in my deck queue, so don't really have time to take off because I want to keep that in check so people don't have to wait too long to get the decks that they submitted played. Yikes. Nah, Captive Audience isn't fantastic in this format just because Mortify is such a premium spell and cards like Vivian exist, so it's very difficult to get one or more than one trigger off of Captive Audience is the issue. Hey, congrats, Wax Paper, and thanks for the 12 months. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I Knight D, Defender of the Realm, go forth and protect us from Twitch chat. The Nug Jug, thanks for shipping your Bezo bucks this way. I appreciate it. Yeah, magic. Or as I like to call it, 26 lands later. Yeah, of course you get a sword. It's your 12-month present. Is this even good enough? It's not even good enough, right? Angel of Grace comes in here. Clarion's not very good. Ixalan's binding. Is this Settle the Wreckage matchup? I can't imagine Settle the Wreckage is good against the Hydroid Crisis deck. Just gonna run it back like this. Look, buddy, if you want to put bleach right over your eyeball sockets, you are welcome to. I declined that opportunity. Also, your eyebrows grow in at a much different rate than the hair on the rest of your head. But I do understand that you're from Twitch chat, so facts have a rough time settling down where you're at. So I forgive you. Target practice emote. That's actually not a bad idea. Interesting that they took Shalai. We are professionals, so we drew another, but weird that of all the things in my hand, they took Shalai. Land, please. Isn't magic fun? That's fine. Stumbling and dying in the matchup we probably can't win anyways is likely for the best. Yeah, we do need a garbage shame emote. We need a garbage shame emote, and we need a me with pink hair and beard emote. I'm gonna make sure both those things happen soon. How we doing, folks? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good night to everybody, wherever you're at in the world. Thanks for dropping by here today. My name is Jeff Hoagland. I stream full-time here on Twitch. I'm here playing Magic 30, 40, 50 hours a week. If you enjoy standard best of 3 constructed, this is definitely the channel for you. I as always, like to give a shout out to my wonderful subs. I wouldn't be here day in and day out without their wonderful support. They're quite literally the folks that keep me employed. I'd also like to mention a few of my wonderful sponsors here. Quip provides wonderful, quality, affordable electric toothbrushes. Checking them out at link bit.ly/HoogleQuip. You can get your first refill kit of a brush head, battery, and toothpaste for free. And if you sign in using your Twitch link when you pick up your brush with them, you can bump a deck in my deck queue by 25 points for doing so. BCW Supplies are the only ones I trust to protect my very valuable paper Magic the Gathering cards. Using code Jeff10 at bcwsupplies.com, you can save 10% on sleeves, deck boxes, binders, and all sorts of other fantastic stuff with them. Guardsphere.com will love to help you turn your cards into other cards directed to other people. There's no haggling, and they just take a 1% fee off the top. And, of course, InkedGaming.com will love to help you customize your gaming experience using code Jeff12. You can save 12% on custom playmats, mouse pads, binders, and bags with them. You could upload your own custom artwork or choose from the wide range of custom artwork that they have on their website. We are 1-1 with Mardu Angels. Beat red aggro. Stumbled and died a couple of times against Sultai. Let's head on into the next one here and see how it goes. Hopefully we can find some like white aggro or mono blue. Those are the types of matchups we're looking for with a deck like this. Sure. 26 lands later, we're going to concede on turn 4 with 2 lands in play. So, because I have so many more removal spells here, I'm going to go ahead and give them a chance to protect this if they have Curious Obsession. 4 mana spells. Those are kind of like lands. Oh! Ooh, buddy! Mark the calendar, chat. We hit the 3rd land on 3. Shh. Channel your energy, chat. There's a 4th land in our future, and it is wonderful. Wonderful. Just wonderful. Justice reigns from above. Ooh, buddy. Ooh, buddy. Essence capture. Never lucky. Lava Coil, you. Justice reigns from above. Punch him right in the face, right in the face. Get him, got him good. This matchup is miserable for the mono blue deck. This matchup's very good for our deck. And that doesn't mean it's unlosable, but we are solidly ahead. And I get that it feels emotionally taxing to play against the mono blue deck, and that's why so many people dislike it. Because like it feels bad to get told no all the time like you're a small child, but the decks like this do line up well into matches like this. No! Oh no, they diddled us, chat. Hey, diddle diddle. The Clarion and the fiddle. Clarion, my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are gone. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more. Do 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 do. I feel like the sideboard for this deck is not well constructed. I feel like this sideboard just has too many cards for the aggro matchup. Because I have so many cards to bring in this matchup. Is Clarion not good enough here? Maybe I just prefer the spot removal and the Duresses. Do I want to trim some 4-drops? Maybe I just trim some 4-drops. Like Shalai. Shalai is actually pretty bad here. I'm going to trim Shalai. A 4-mana flying creature that can't block Temp Vision kind of sucks. Alright, let's give this a go. So, Ixalan's Binding, I agree, isn't great in the current format, but I think it's fine against decks that play Hydrate Crisis, because if they kill your Ixalan's Binding, their Hydrate Crisis just goes to the bin. No, Deafening Clarion kills all the creatures, so they'll be peace when they are gone. I understand the lyrics you want to sing, but my meme here on stream is killing things with Deafening Clarion, so my words are very correct. There will be peace when the mono blue creatures are gone. I am an artiste. I'm gonna shock this in, so if they have a curious obsession, we can go to town. Electro Dominance just doesn't seem very good in Standard. Standard's just not a format about generating tempo in the way that Electro Dominance generates tempo, in my experience. I'm gonna kill one of these. I don't think I can keep taking these hits. I'm like, there's a pretty good chance this doesn't resolve next turn, so I don't want to lean on this resolving. Alright. Pierce me, baby! Pierce me! Pierce me from within! Oh, yeah! That was much better than Shalai would have been there. That was much better than Shalai would have been there. Do you like how we baited the dive down? You could probably argue that I'm a master at baiting, chat. Just a true wizard. A man among men. They have Sphinx in their deck. That's interesting. I am not a wizard from the coast. I am in no way associated or affiliated with wizards who are on coasts. Hashtag not sponsored. Hashtag sponsored by you. Neat sir, thank you for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Thanks for shipping your Bezo bucks this way this month. Wizards of the Toast. Nah, Wizards of the Toast is my opponent here, because they are definitely toasted. We are explicitly not associated. No thanks. Wizards of the Corn. We're watching Wizards of the Corn. Oh, that's funny because it's great. Alright, survey says. Are you dead yet? Stop it. Alright, hey, diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle. Doo 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 doo. Survey says. Did you draw a tricky deck? You did not. So I was a little bit harsh when we were setting up for the deck about things I liked and things I didn't like. Maybe there's just a chance that this Mardu configuration of Angels is just giving up the hard matchups like Control and Nexus and Sultai and just leaning hard into beating the matches that are good. Maybe that's what we're doing instead of trying to pull to the center to make all matchups winnable. We're just like trying to dunk the ones that are good and punt the ones that aren't. I can see that being a reasonable takeaway. If you expected to play against a ton of mono blue, I definitely think this configuration is reasonable. I'm missing a red source here, but this is a pretty good 3-4-5, so I'm going to keep my lands here. That being said, you know, considering the small inconsistency from having another color in your deck, like, if this was just a Tocatli Honor Guard or a Tithe Taker or a Cast Down, some black-white card, this hand would be absurd, and right now it's a little bit awkward. So I think with Runaway Steamkin in play here, I'm going to play Dragonskull Summit tap so that I can Lava Coil the Steamkin next turn. Yeah, basically, Pelly. That's a good way to think about it. It feels like they're taking matchups that are 60-40 and trying to push them to 70-30, and taking matchups that are 40-60 and pushing them to 30-70 would be a reasonable comparison for what it feels like this list is doing. I just play Shalai. I think I'm gonna play Shalai here. Afternoon, Willer. Yikes! I'm glad I have a Lava Coil this turn. Land is excellent, because it means I get to Lava Coil this, plus play a Resplendent Angel. Experimental Frenzy plus whatnot is real terrifying. Gambling on killing Shalai. Oh, they gambled and they won. Don't kill my Resplendent Angel. Don't kill my Resplendent Angel. Don't kill my Resplendent Angel. Thank goodness. 8-point swings. Scale of 1 to dead. What are we working with here? Scale of 1 to dead. Which direction should I be worried about? So, at the Mythic Championship, the mono-red aggro decks all had, or the successful ones at least, seemed like they all had access to, green cards for their sideboard, specifically for the ability to play, cards like Cindervines and Collision Colossus, which is actually very good against our deck, Collision Colossus. What am I trimming? Oh, I cut Resplendent Angel last time, right? Okay, I think I like that cut. Seems reasonable. We got 10, 15 bombs plus history. I don't think Kaya's good enough here. And she's a little bit too slow. I think both Clarion and Mortify are better than Kaya. So they're like barely Gruul decks, basically. So, an important thing to remember about History plus Clarion is that Clarion has multiple lines of text. So if you have your History tokens in play, you can just give your History tokens lifelink, which is very good in this matchup. Light it up. We're on fire. Oh, ho, 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 ho. In the dark, dark. All right, so we're gonna take 2 next turn. We're gonna take 2 from the Vanny Show. See if they've got a 3rd land here if we're just taking 4. Gonna have these creatures Clarion next turn. To the old 14 to sweep it up. Clarion's very good here. Very, very reasonable. You just start slamming big, fat angel booties next turn. Thick gals. Fat bottom girls make the rockin' world go round. I want to lead on Aurelia here because they do have Lava Coil post board, so I don't just want to jam this down their throat. I'd encourage you to watch the videos where we've played with Banefire and then see us come to the conclusions that we come to. Frost Kitty, thanks for the Prime support. I appreciate that. What would I change in the sideboard to make the bad matchups better? I'd cut the red cards and play blue cards or no other splash at all. Red cards are not good in this deck's bad matchups. So, if you wanted to see how I would build angels to help make the bad matchups better, I'd recommend checking out the white blue angels build that we played this morning on my YouTube channel later on. Esper is also a fine choice. We played some Esper. We actually played a really sweet 4-color angels deck that I liked a lot. You got him. You got him. Angel down. She was so innocent. All she wanted to do was love. Love. Find me somebody to love. Find me. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. That's all she wrote. I did not actually see Bohemian Rhapsody. Keep feeding me aggro decks so we can get to diamond. Please and thank you, ladder. Good games, Epic. I agree. This deck seems like it's very good against these aggro decks, so if we keep getting fed mono blue and mono red, we're gonna be in a good spot. My lands hurt me a little bit, but if they're an aggro deck, we got Clarion to clean up on 3. It's not a bad place to be. If you're a gambling man and wanted to cut a land or two from your current version of Climb, what would I include in the main or the sideboard? I don't know. If you wanna make your deck less consistent, I'd just close my eyes and cut crap at random. If we're not gonna play based on math, I don't know how to make decisions. I make my decisions based on math when I care. If we're just making stuff up, I'd just be like, cut that one and add that one. Seems pretty reasonable. Ooh, all right. Second Clarion looking pretty spicy here. Is Bant Angels worse than Mardu for climbing? I don't think so. I think Bant's much better against control and Nexus decks. So it depends on what you're expecting to play against. There's a lot of everything on the ladder. I don't know. We've hit a lot of aggro so far, though. For Cast Down and Moment of Craving, in a more controlling deck with access to Mardu removal, I would want to prioritize Lava Coil and Moment of Craving. I think both of those are pretty premium removal spells. Yeah, I agree, Duo. The sample sizes are so small, it's able to feel like people have to comment on things like the ladder meta is changing, well, when in reality it just happens that their small set of anecdotal evidence for the day is just different than it was the previous day. There's so many people playing so many different things that the number of matches you need to be logging to actually log changes in a meta game are just so huge compared to the number of games one person is playing in a day. If there's a big scary elephant in our future, we're gonna be in a lot of trouble. Yeah, smells like an elephant. This is Elephanto tapping all the friendos. So, Clarion is going to kill the 2 Dauntless Bodyguards and turn this into a 1/1. So that means my opponent is going to have 8 power left over after I do this. I really like the Blue-Eyed Angels build we played today. I was very impressed with it. We only played it for an hour and a half, so I don't have a huge sample size, but I did enjoy it for the games that we played, and it felt very reasonable from a theory perspective. Aurelia having a 5 booty here could be very, very relevant. That is another Elefante. That is another Elefante. Yikes. Dolphin Chunks. Thanks for the Twitch Prime support. Hope you're having a good one. I think I just have to Clarion again here. Yeah, the last card could easily be. Yeah, I think I need to do this. I don't know that we're beating their last card being removal. I suppose I can draw a Lava Coil or a Justice Strike here, right? If we draw a piece of 2-mana removal, we can clean out the board. Kind of. Not really. Like a 2-mana play here. I think we're dead. Scale of 1 to dead. What are we working with here? Smells like dead. Yikes. The white aggro deck is really good. If I was gonna ladder with an aggressive deck, it would definitely be white aggro. It's definitely be white aggro. Like that archetype a lot. How'd you rate Deafening Clarion against other 3-mana sweepers in the history of Magic? So cards like that, or questions like that, I don't think are particularly good questions to be asking, because the power level of Magic cards is contextual to the format that they're in. So there's some formats where Clarion is better than Anger of the Gods, is better than Cry of the Canarium. It depends on what cards are legal and what cards are seeing play to determine which of these things are ideal and which are not. I don't think Kai is good enough here. I think spend 3 mana, interact with your 1-drop does not seem ideal to me. Yeah, I guess Settle the Wreckage is pretty okay, huh? I don't know, this card's just so flipping telegraphed. Although I guess if I'm not boarding it in here, it's not coming in anywhere, so why is it in my deck? Well, let's try 1 Kaya. I'm not convinced that it's not bad, but we've got a slot, so let's do it. Kaya's good against mono blue. Although I do think this deck doesn't need extra help against mono blue, so I'm not confident that Kaya should even be in the 75. Alec, thanks for the Prime support. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Yeah, Kaya is very good against mono blue, but this archetype as a whole is already very good against mono blue. So, Settle is telegraphed because when you pass, when you pass with 4 cards in your hand with 4 mana up, it's like, oh, what could this possibly be? So the decks that are still in the stream title are decks that have yet to be played today, but we're extremely organized on this stream. So you can always find all the upcoming decks that we have yet to play on my website in the deck queue. We aim to make the viewers' lives as easy as possible here. Oh, you know what? Maybe I should Mortify on my turn so I don't get negated or spell pierced. Alright, so I'm going to Mortify the Snubhorn Sentry here as opposed to the Marshal. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I don't want them to flip Legion's Landing over this turn. It doesn't mean I'm taking a little bit more damage, but I think it's ideal to not let them flip the landing right away. Lands, please. Yikes. Magic standard format rotates every fall. So October 2019, the oldest 4 sets will rotate out. And we're dead, Jim. And like this is a good example of like Aurelia not really helping problems that we have. Like this archetype has enough beefcakes in it that like you don't need more chunky 4-drops to like in these matchups. Like you have enough chunky 4s just in black and white. Let's play 1 or 2 more here. That was a pretty convincing loss. Maybe the white matchup's not actually that good for this archetype. Hey, Alex, thanks for the 17. Welcome back. Awesome, Lord. Is today Angel Day? Yeah, kinda. Kinda. I mean, we stumbled, but in decks like this with 0 card selection, you're going to stumble and you're going to flood a good portion of the time. It's just, it comes with the territory. Without ops, without explore creature, without surveil, that's the reality of playing your deck. Especially when you're trying to curve out to 4 and 5 every game. I think if we're not playing Aurelia, we just shouldn't be playing Mardu. And I'm not going to change this into a different Angels deck based on the submission. Sultai with Thought Erasure. Okay. Pretty dead. This is one of those matchups that I said, you know, we got these Clarions and we got these Aurelias. They're not really very useful. We've got 4 Duress in the sideboard and we can cross our fingers and hope for the best, but this style of matchup against the combo control decks are bad for regular decks, are bad for Black-White Angels, and they're worse for a clunkier version like this that has more blanks. This build without any 2-drops in it is going to exceptionally struggle here, because we don't have a way to meaningfully apply pressure to the opponent. For the sake of illustrating the theory graph that I'm talking about, I'm going to let this play out. Yay! Tapped lands. Yeah, basically, their mediocre draws beat your average draws, is what it comes down to. The splash isn't free, chat. The splash isn't free. Remember, imagine if these Clifftop Retreats had just been basic lanes. We'd have played on curve, right? And maybe had a shot. Not guaranteed, but maybe. Imagine if this Deafening Clarion had been a meaningful 2-drop like a Tithe Taker. We'd have gone Taker, Resplendent Angel, Seraph. The scales a curve like that. The cards in Standard that I think are underrated or underexplored, I think Sphinx of whatever it's called is a very, very powerful Magic card. The card's been super impressive every time we played it. Alright, we're solidly into garbage time. Let's move along here. No, the blue one with the start of the game effect. Ooh. We sided in Kaya because it's good at keeping them off of flipping Azcanta. Dying live on stream, that would be awkward. Look at our big, beautiful mana base. Look at our big, beautiful mana base. Yep. Would dying live break the TOS? I think that would be the least of my problems. dude. We'll Duress into Ixalan's Binding here. Wow. Alright. Yoink. Alright, if they have a counterspell, we're in trouble. Gosh, they drew negate? Alright, I'm done. Yikes. Yikes. So, to wrap up here on Mardu Angels, I feel like adding red to the Black-White Angels archetype takes its good matchups and makes them a little bit better, and takes its bad matchups and makes them a lot worse. As far as my power level rankings for Angels decks, I think red is the worst possible color you can add to the other iterations of Angels decks. Black and white being my top, or black and blue being my top picks for secondary and maybe third colors. But I think adding red to Angels is just kind of a miss. It doesn't really do anything or fix any problems that you're looking to solve that the other Angel decks have. Alright, what do we got next? Mardu Aristocrats. Mardu Kitty Cats. I am going to run to the restroom really quick, and when I get back, we're gonna play some matches with this. Thanks everyone for hanging out today, and don't